Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Kamaya, and if you'd like to see how I accomplished this hair color, stay tuned. Hey guys, so we're gonna get straight to it. I'm starting this off by using my Salon Care 40 Volume Cream Developer and the Clairol BW Bleach. I didn't do this with accurate measurements, honestly. I just made it into a consistency like the one I just showed. And I basically added about like 4 or 5 scoops of the bleach, and then I added the developer until it became that consistency that I showed. Honestly, this part was very tedious. I made a lot of mistakes, and I'm going to tell you guys the mistakes I made so you won't do the same. Or so you'll do the same if you want the same results. So the first thing that I did was I separated a piece at the back separately like this. And honestly, thank God my mom was with me while I was doing this, and she knows a bit more about dyeing hair, a lot more about dyeing hair than I do. So she did assist me and guide me on the way. So I had these 2 parts, right? It was supposed to be one part where no bleach touched for the beginning of the process, and then the part above that I was to alternate and put bleach on every other strand. Okay, so basically what I was trying to say is, as you can see in the clip right here, there's space between every section that I bleached, and that's my definition of strands, not individual singular strands, clumps of strands. So between every part that I bleached was a black section. What I was supposed to do after I bleached that section where I did every other piece of hair was part a row above that and not apply any bleach to it, and then part a row above that row now and picked out every other section, like picked out in a pattern, one section to bleach, one section to not bleach, one section to bleach, one section to not bleach. But I made a mistake, guys, and I didn't do that. So if you want my results, do what I did. If you don't want my results and you want it to be more streaky and have more visible highlights throughout, definitely alternate between rows. So you have one black row, one row above that where you do every other section, one black row, one row above that where you do every other section, and you just keep doing that until you get to the top. But what I was doing was I was parting rows above each other and doing every other section in each row. And with that, my highlights were a lot more subtle, and it kind of had my hair looking very close in color. It didn't really show up as bright as I would like it to. So that is how I got the results that I got, which wasn't what I was looking for. But honestly, once I saw that what I was trying to accomplish wasn't really going well, I decided to make the best of what I was accomplishing, and I ended up loving how the hair turned out anyways. Maybe later on I would, go ahead and dye this a different color or try to add more highlights, but for now I love how the hair looks. So when you're doing the alternated and bleach thing where you apply bleach to every other section, I would highly recommend that when you get to the front of your hair, you apply bleach first to the pieces that fall in front of your face. For each alternating section, start at the front of your closure, frontal or whatever it is that you have, and have the first section of bleach start off at the piece that falls in front of your face. After I did that whole every other section thing with the bleach, I then let the bleach sit on the hair until I saw that it was becoming lighter. And then after that, I went and I just started smothering bleach all over the hair. And while you're doing that, make sure you open up the hair, make sure you get in between it, and you're not just applying bleach to the top of the hair. you're applying it all throughout, because you're gonna have like the inside of your hair being black, and if you curl it, it's gonna be obvious, and I feel like that looks kind of tacky, y'all. So make sure you're just getting bleach everywhere. The hair will not lift to the same color equally all throughout, because the bleach would not have been sitting on each section for the same amount of time. So that was my thought process in getting like highlighted sections and getting a hair color that wasn't necessarily even and flat in color. I did use a tail comb to kind of comb the bleach throughout the hair, and I saw Sophiology do this, and when she does that, it allows it to be more streaky, and I wanted that streaky look. I did not want one flat color. Also guys, just a piece of advice, make sure that your hair is detangled before you start applying bleach. Just try to detangle each section before you apply the bleach, even before this point, because I didn't do that. My hair was really tangled and it was hard to get the bleach inside of the hair where the black parts were. Okay guys, so I basically did this whole process going off of observation. So when I saw that the hair had lifted to a color that I desired, that's when I decided to go ahead and wash it out. The products that I use to wash my hair out are Isoplus Neutralizing Shampoo. I shampooed the hair with that about 2 or 3 times. Then I followed that up with using the Aussie Moist shampoo to just restore moisture in the hair. And I also used the Aussie Moist conditioner. After that, I also applied the Clairol Clair hair colorant just to add some sheen to the color. And I'm going to insert pictures of everything so you guys could see what everything looks like. Okay, so for this segment of the video, I'm using the Got To Be Free spray to just spray the lace of my wig. At this point, the hair is dried and this is the color that it came out to. I was not feeling it. It was too bright and I was trying to tone it down a bit. So I just applied that over to my little mannequin head and I parted my hair off into a half. Not necessarily an even half, it was kind of like a U part. I'm using the Garnier Nutrise Nourishing Color Cream in color 51, and this comes in the color Mocha Ash Brown, and everything that you need comes in the box, and there are instructions in the box. You basically mix bottle A, B, and C together and shake it up, and then bottle D is the conditioner, and that's what you use to condition the hair after you wash it out. So after you shake up your mixture, what you're going to do is just use the applicator point of the bottle and apply that all over the hair. And I part my hair in smaller sections just to make sure every part of this really bright color is just turned into brown, because I don't like the bright color, y'all. I didn't like the bright color at all. After applying the color 51 to the lower back half, I'm going to move along and go ahead to now use the Garnier Nutrise color in number 73. And I think this is like a dark golden blonde. I'm going to go ahead and also break off some pieces of aluminum foil. I'm going to pre-separate this just because I don't want to get hair dye on the aluminum foil roll, because this is the foil for my family to wrap up leftovers, and y'all, it's not no hair foil. I broke off about 10 pieces of aluminum foil, and I didn't measure these pieces, guys. I just used my common sense to think, how much aluminum foil am I going to need to wrap around the strands of hair that I'm going to highlight? That's all I did. These hair dyes, after you open them out of the box, I didn't see any indication that told me what color was what color, so I'd highly recommend you ripping off the wrapper off of one of the colors just so you could differentiate between which is which. I ripped off the wrapper off the lighter color, but guys, I did the wrong thing, and I thought I was highlighting, but I was really applying the dark brown to my hair anyways. So after realizing I made the mistake of applying darker hair dye to one section, I was just like, all right, I'm gonna just part up some more, and it won't be like a half head type of thing. It will be like I'll start from in like the front mid section of the hair to the top to apply the highlights, and then the rest of it will just be in full dark brown. Oh wait, y'all, I think this is when I realized I made a mistake. I realized I put the brown dye on the wrong section, the dark brown dye. So I just kept putting that in, y'all. So ignore that. I was really trying not to get anxious and dwell on my mistakes in this process, because that's what I typically do. And I think I did a great job with that this time, y'all. So I just moved on to the next part. I'm like, okay, this part I'll put some highlights in. So for this, I separated the hair that I'm not using, and then I used the tail comb to just dig out every other section. And I just use a tail comb in a zigzag motion to get every other section. Once I do that, I put some brown dye on the parts that are not in the sections that I want to highlight, and then I applied the color 73, which is the golden blonde color, to the sections that I want to highlight. And I didn't use one piece of aluminum foil for each section that I highlighted. I just highlighted them all together and then put them all in the one aluminum foil. So whatever you don't highlight, guys, you want to just make sure you add some brown dye to it. After that, I went ahead and I parted a section above that one section that I added the highlights to, and then I just dyed that with the full-on brown dye. Next, I parted a section above that section, and then I did the alternated method again, where I did every other section in the light blonde color. And then the remainder, I just dyed that brown. Then after I applied the full-on brown to the section above the section that I applied lighter colors to, I went and I did the method where I alternated and did every other strand in the light. So here, I'm going to put the light color on those sections that I picked out, put the aluminum foil over it, and then the pieces that are remaining, I dye with brown dye. Then above that section, I parted off again, and I just applied the mocha brown, the dark brown, full onto that section. And then the section above that, I alternate and do every other strand in the light hair dye, apply the aluminum foil, and then the remaining strands, I put the darker hair dye on it. Hopefully everything I'm explaining is clear to you guys. If anything is unclear, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. So I let the dye sit on my hair for probably about 45 minutes, close to an hour, and I monitored it throughout the whole process. Please guys, if you are doing this, make your own observations and try to think and do what's best for your hair in the moment. If you see that something doesn't look right, do not leave your hair dye on for the same amount of time as me. Anyways, to wash out the hair dye, I basically went ahead and redid the same process of using the Neutralizing shampoo, the Aussie Moist shampoo, and then the Aussie Moist conditioner. I didn't record that once again because it's pretty self-explanatory. I had no technique of doing it. I just washed the hair out with those items. So after the hair was washed and dried, I let it air dry every time, guys. I never applied a blow dry to it. I went ahead and I parted off a square area just around the closure of the wig. The color that the wig was in was a really pretty chocolatey color, but I feel like it was just very bland on my complexion. So I wanted to add a bit more pop of color, y'all. So I went back in with some 30 volume developer and some BW2 bleach powder, and then I went back in to add some highlights just to the top. So I just tried to make a really pasty consistency with the bleach and the developer. I started off by adding all the powder that I wanted. Then I gradually added more and more developer until the consistency built up to be pasty enough for me. So after I mixed up my developer and bleach, I go ahead and separated the back part and just put that in a plait so that no bleach or developer will touch that, because I want that to stay exactly how it is. I was first going to start off by applying the highlights to this section that I'm parting out, but then I remember I kind of want my highlights to be brighter at the front of my face, so I'm going to put the first set of bleach and developer on the top section. And I'm doing the same pattern where I do every other strand, starting with the first strand that falls towards my face, applying bleach to that, and then alternate between applying bleach to every other strand within that section. So I'll do one strand with bleach, one strand with no bleach, one strand with bleach, one strand with no bleach. And guys, whatever you do to the right side, you want to do that to your left side. So after I did the alternated method of one section with bleach and one section without bleach at the top right side, then I went ahead and did that same thing on the top left side. And I just took turns going back and forth from the left to the right instead of doing one side first and then the next side after. So now I'm moving on to the next section. What I do is I part off a piece of hair underneath the section that I did the alternating bleach method to. And then I just kind of like plaited that all up and separated it. Then the section below that now, that section I did go ahead and I applied bleach to every other section. And I just kept doing this and alternating until I completed the entire section that I had initially separated. So I let the bleach sit on the hair for probably about 30 minutes again, guys. Shout out to Nancy Best Hair for having this bomb hair that I pretty much OD'd with color and bleach and toner within the span of like 3 days. Shout out to Nancy's Best Hair on Amazon. Anyways, I let the bleach sit on the hair for probably about 30 minutes and then I washed it off using the Purple Shimmer and Lights shampoo. I used the Aussie Moist shampoo after that and then the Aussie Moist conditioner. I feel like you guys are about to be so sick of me, y'all. Honestly, after I did this whole highlighting thing, I was like, yeah, sis is looking too yellow. I gotta tone her down. So then I went to the beauty supply store and I got a Wella Charm toner in the color T18. I mixed that with 10 volume developer and I just applied it to all the sections that I had applied bleach to previously, to kind of get it to look a little bit more ashy and less brassy, you know. So honestly, I feel like this didn't do very much, but it did enough to tone the hair down a bit and not have it be so aggressively yellow, in my opinion at least. And the Wella toner said to use a 20 volume developer. I did not have a 20 volume developer. I only had a 10 and a 30, and then I used the 10 because I didn't want to like overdo it by using the 30. This was the last thing I did to the hair because I needed it for the next day and I needed to air dry overnight, which it didn't. I had to put it under a hooded dryer, and that actually helps the hair to feel really soft and silky, y'all. So I highly recommend doing that. So after doing that anyways, I went ahead after that and I used my Purple Shimmer and Light shampoo again to wash the hair out, and the Aussie Moist shampoo and conditioner. And then I just dried it under the hooded dryer and then straightened it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos by me, subscribe to my channel and comment down below what are your thoughts on this hair. I feel like it's giving Beyonce, but I don't know if I'm guessing myself. What do y'all think? Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.